Hello and welcome to another episode of With You on Zoom. My name's Amy and I'm here with Adam Trezise, board game reviewer and star of DieRollin. Hi, how are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you. And how are you, Amy?
Fab, I'm okay. As good as we can be. So I guess my first question is introduce yourself to the audience. What do you do? Who are you?
If only I mean, that's a real question. Who am I? Who am I? So essentially, I'm Adam from DieRollin, like Amy just said. And what I kind of do is in my spare time, I'm a content creator. I make board game reviews. I do Kickstarter previews. I'm kind of just waffling now. Essentially, what I do is I just film board games that I play with my friends, and then we put them onto YouTube. And I also run an Instagram where I just take lots of pictures of board games and try to encourage people to try some board games.
So how did the idea to start the YouTube channel come about?
Well, so on my channel there's myself and a couple of other guys, and one of the other guys, Jamie, he had his own YouTube channel with his partner and his family. It was a family-based YouTube kind of show, and we were kind of talking, and I'd often go around his house and bring one of my many board games with me, and I'd be like, oh, well, let's play a game and stuff, and he was like, oh, we should probably like do a video of like a board game review, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. So we filmed 2 of those for his channel, and then they were the most successful videos he'd had on his channel. So he was like, oh, could we do this, like just do YouTube videos, just a channel just for this? And I'd already had my Instagram at this point for probably about a year and a half at this point. I was like, sure, let's just kind of merge the name and everything together and just like go for it. So it essentially is myself, my friend Jamie, and our acquaintance Will. I wouldn't say friend. And then there's my brother Christopher has also joined us very recently.
Oh, that's fab. I know you said you do a lot of Kickstarter reviews, and I was going to ask, do the Kickstarts typically reach out to you, or is it you find Kickstarters that you find particularly interesting and then you get the ball rolling with them, or the dice rolling? Could have made the easiest joke there.
Obviously, right in the nose there, isn't it? Well, to begin with, I already had about 200 odd games at the point of beginning, and we were just playing games that I'd ordered on Kickstarter. But then after about a year, I thought, well, maybe I could like reach out to people and see if anybody would like to actually send us review copies. So I started off with smaller independent kind of publishers who probably hadn't actually done Kickstarter before, and introduced myself, sent some links to what we do, and it helped that I have quite a few Instagram followers, so they're like, sure, let's do that. So it kind of started off slowly, but now I've got to the point where I do have people approaching me, and I'm having to turn people away sometimes. And it's kind of gone from just a kind of a casual, nice little hobby thing that we do to I have to have a rigid schedule of when I'm filming stuff, when it needs to be edited. But the main thing is it's still really fun.
I mean, it must have grown so fast, because to go from like starting a YouTube channel to having Kickstarters message you and ask you to have their games on your channel, that must be fantastic.
A really big thing we had happen recently was we actually had there's a board game retailer that basically contacted us because they'd seen I'd been doing some Instagram posts about Halloween board games, and they're like, oh, we'd love to work with you. Which was amazing because they're like a shop. I won't mention them. They're a shop that I normally go to, and I've spent quite a lot of money on their website. So the fact they're actually approaching me and go, hey, actually, out of all the UK reviewers we've got, would love to work with you and see what you do. So that was a big win for us, personal win.
Well, I was going to say, how does it feel to build this YouTube channel off something you like love doing? Because that's the dream for most people.
Problem is, if you're kind of, I guess, like if you're in a career where you're doing something that you really enjoy as a hobby, then maybe that could take away some of that enjoyment of the hobby, which is why we try to not take our reviews too seriously, because otherwise we could get quite stressed out. And we have had a thing recently of one of the players, I won't mention who, we had to edit it because he got very angry with everyone else at the table. It was not a cool moment, but it feels great. It's lovely doing something that I enjoy as a hobby. And the thing is, I'm a creative person, and I'm kind of trained in theatre, and I never really went down the actual acting route as a career because money. I like things too much. So this is kind of my creative output. It lets me kind of still feel like I'm on a stage of some sorts, and also like just hang out with friends, which is important in this day and age.
It is very important. Would you consider, or have you considered, designing your own board game? And if so, what is it? How far along is the idea?
Well, so to answer your question, yes and yes. So I basically a couple of years ago now, I sat down and I was on my own and I was thinking, oh, I'd really like to play a board game. What kind of board game would I like to play? And I already had, like I said, about 200 board games at this point. It wasn't like I didn't have any board games to play. But I was thinking, I'm a big fan of horror. And when I was looking at my board game collection, I thought, there's nothing that's like Friday the 13th or like a kind of slasher horror movie kind of thing. And it kind of went from there. I just started writing down ideas, and out of all the different games I played, I thought, oh, how could I incorporate the theme into game mechanics and do stuff like that? So after about a year of like prototyping, playing it with friends, I went to the UK Games Expo, which is a really big event they have at the NEC. Absolutely amazing place, love it. And yeah, I basically met up with a publisher, and he signed me. He was like, "This is great, love the game." So I got a contract, everything, and then after about 4 months, they went into administration. So unfortunately, my kind of dream died a little bit then. Since then, I've been so focused on just creating content for the channel. And when we had kind of the pandemic arrive, I kind of really had to do something to keep myself from going insane. So I started creating solo content for my channel, which probably sounds really sad when it's just one person playing a board game and showing other people how they're playing the board game. But it was it kind of got me through the pandemic a bit. But yeah, I am intending to return back to them, but I've just been so busy with all the channel stuff.
Well, a slasher board game does sound like quite an interesting concept. I think I'd definitely play that because I've never played a board game kind of like that. What did you have in mind for like gameplay specifically?
So there are actually, obviously, part of like creating anything, you do a bit of research, and there are actually a couple of board games out there which have this kind of slasher kind of theme and stuff. So what I did, I kind of played a couple of those and thought, well, they're really good, but there's still room for what I would like to do. And my main kind of drive was, I like playing cooperative games with people. I like to sit at a table with a bunch of friends and nobody is against each other, because my gaming group, we tried to play Risk for a long time and it got really heated. So people got grudges. Not me, but other people. I won't name names. So I want to play a cooperative game where we were going against, like, playing against the board game, because then we can all be angry together as a team. And the general idea is you'd have this the killer moving around the camp. You're trying to control like 6 different camp counselors, and it's not like Amy. It's not like you would have your own camp counselor. You'd be in control of up to 6 of them, and on your turn you just spend different things to move different people around. It sounds really complicated, but it really wasn't. But yeah, I have a prototype of this on Tabletop Simulator, so if anyone ever would like to play it with me, I'm more than happy to walk them through. But yeah, the thing is, it's interesting making a game out of something that you really enjoy, like as a medium, like horror films. Just trying to get the really kind of jump scares and stuff like that in the game. Because to be fair, I played lots of horror board games, but nothing is scary. I mean, you're never gonna have a board game that actually scares you. They're not that immersive. But yeah, I think mine was pretty good though. I got a lot of good feedback from people who weren't related to me, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, if you do say so yourself, it was quite a good game.
Yes.
I guess my final question, and it might be a little bit of a hard question / controversial question. What has been your favorite Kickstarter to play? Have there been any that you've played and you've immediately be like, this is going far?
So are you talking about games I've been sent and I was like, oh, this is amazing? Or are you talking about games I generally like, I just got and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing?
Let's go for both. I'd like both, thank you.
Now I'm racking my brains now, just trying to think of what we reviewed, which I was like, oh, it's great. Because there's been a few recently. I would say so. I was sent a game called Jagged Alliance, which is based on a kind of 90s computer game I never played. And it was just before the pandemic hit, and I had this on my shelves, and I was like, oh, I really want to try and create content, but trying to create multiplayer content when you can't actually play games with people is pretty tricky. So for me, that game was amazing because it was the first time I really was able to kind of do solo board gaming. And actually, I'd tried it before where I'd set up a board game and then 20 minutes into it, I'm like, what am I doing in my life? This is depressing. But having a camera there and like talking to people and making the rules up as you go along, basically, it kind of helped. So Jagged Alliance, I would say, is quite a good, exciting game. And for one game that really tickled my fancy, you might say, was Hit the Silk. And this is a game which pretty much anyone can play. Very fun. You're essentially on an airplane and you're trying to steal a bunch of money as a team. However, the pilot catches you, shoots the controls, and then jumps out with one of the parachutes. So then you're left on board this plane that's slowly going down, and you only have enough parachutes for most of you. So somebody is going to have to try and land the plane or die horribly. So with the next like 60 minutes, you're there trying to negotiate with people, bluff people, steal stuff off them, and jump off. So Hit the Silk, I think, was a great game.
Oh, that does sound like a good game. I might have to give that one a try. Thank you for having a chat with me today. It's been fantastic.
It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you and yeah, talk to you. And thank you for picking me out of the various different content creators that are out there.